Unlock pronouns easily. Hello everyone. Today we're going to explore a fundamental part of the English language, pronouns. Pronouns are incredibly useful little words that help us avoid repetition by replacing nouns in our sentences. Imagine having to repeat a person's name over and over again. It would sound quite awkward, wouldn't it? Instead, we use pronouns to make our language flow more naturally. For example, if I say, Sarah is at the park, she loves the swings, the word she is a pronoun replacing Sarah. Without pronouns, we would end up with sentences like Sarah is at the park, Sarah loves the swings, which sounds a bit clunky. Another example, the book is on the table, it is blue. Here, it is used instead of repeating the book. Pronouns can also refer to groups. Tom and Jerry are friends. They play football every weekend. They replaces Tom and Jerry, making the sentence smoother. Using pronouns helps us communicate more efficiently and makes our conversations sound more natural. As we continue, we'll explore different types of pronouns and how to use them effectively. Subject pronouns are words we use to replace the subject of a sentence, often the person or thing doing the action. For example, when I say I water the plants, the word I is the subject pronoun. It tells us who is doing the watering. If you're talking about your friend who likes to paint, instead of repeating their name, you can say, he paints beautifully. Here, he is the subject pronoun replacing your friend's name. Let's consider a group of people. If you and your friends are going to the park, you might say, we are going to the park. We is the subject pronoun that replaces you and your friends. Now imagine you see a dog chasing its tail. Rather than saying the dog chases its tail, you can say, it chases its tail. It is the subject pronoun for the dog. These pronouns help make sentences clear and less repetitive, focusing on the action and who is performing it. Object pronouns are used to receive the action in a sentence. When someone does something to or for someone else, that's where object pronouns come into play. For instance, if I say, she helps me, the word me is the object pronoun. It's receiving the action of helping. Similarly, in the sentence, they invited us to the party, us is the object pronoun receiving the invitation. Another example could be, can you see him over there? Here, him is the object pronoun, as it is the person being seen. Finally, consider the sentence the teacher gave her a book. In this case, her is the object pronoun receiving the book. Object pronouns are essential in making sentences clear and precise, indicating who is affected by the action. Remember, these pronouns include me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. They help us communicate effectively by showing who is on the receiving end of an action. Possessive adjectives are used to show ownership or a relationship between people or things. They help us indicate who something belongs to. For instance, when I say, this is my garden, the word my tells us that the garden belongs to me. Similarly, if I mention your tools, the word your indicates that the tools belong to you. Let's explore a few more examples. Imagine you have a friend who has a new bike. You might say, that is his bike, where his shows that the bike belongs to him. Or consider a family with a car. You could say, this is their car, with their indicating ownership by the family. Possessive adjectives are quite handy in everyday conversation, as they simplify the way we express ownership. For instance, if I talk about a book I own, I would say, this is my book, making it clear that the book belongs to me. Remember, these adjectives change based on the owner, not the object. So her cat means the cat belongs to her, while our house indicates the house belongs to us. Possessive pronouns are used to show ownership, and they stand alone without needing a noun right after them. For instance, if someone asks, whose book is this? You might respond with, it's mine. Here, mine indicates that the book belongs to you without repeating the word book. Another example, if you see a jacket and you're not sure who it belongs to, you might ask, is this jacket yours? The word yours stands in for your jacket, making the sentence concise and clear. Let's look at a different scenario. Imagine you're at a party and someone left their keys on the table. If you're trying to find the owner, you might say, are these keys his or hers? Here, his and hers are possessive pronouns that replace his keys and her keys. Finally, if you're talking about something that belongs to both of you, you might say, this victory is ours. In each case, possessive pronouns help us communicate ownership efficiently without repeating the noun. Reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and the object of a sentence, are the same person or thing. Imagine looking in the mirror and saying, I see myself. Here, myself reflects back to I. If you cook dinner for yourself, yourself shows that you're both the cook and the diner. These pronouns often end in self or selves. For instance, if he accidentally cuts his finger while cooking, he might say, I cut myself. Notice how myself indicates that the action returns to the person doing it. Now, if we consider a group, they might say, we prepared the meal by ourselves. In this case, ourselves shows that they did the work without outside help. Remember, these pronouns are about actions done by and to the same person or group. If you want to emphasize that someone did something independently, reflexive pronouns are your go-to choice. For example, she taught herself to play the piano. Demonstratives are handy words we use to point things out, whether they're near or far. When something is close to us, we use this for singular items and these for plural. For instance, if I'm holding a pen in my hand, I would say, this is a pen. If I have a few pens, I'd say, these are pens. Now, when something is farther away, we switch to that for singular and those for plural. Imagine you're looking at a distant mountain. You'd say, that is a mountain. If there are several mountains, you'd say, those are mountains. Remember, this and these bring things close to us in conversation, while that and those push them further away. Try practicing by pointing to objects around you and saying this or that, depending on their distance. It's a simple way to get comfortable using these words in everyday conversation. Pronouns can be tricky, and mistakes often happen when they don't agree with the noun they replace. A common error is using the wrong subject pronoun. For example, saying, me am going to the store, instead of I am going to the store. Remember, I is the subject pronoun, not me. Another frequent mistake involves possessive pronouns. Learners sometimes mix up its and its. Its shows possession, like the dog wagged its tail, while its is a contraction for it is, as in it's a sunny day. Also, be cautious with reflexive pronouns. People might say she hurt her when they mean she hurt herself. Reflexive pronouns like myself, yourself, and herself are used when the subject and the object are the same person. Finally, don't forget about demonstratives. Saying this are my friends should be these are my friends, because these is used for plural nouns. Keep practicing, and these will become second nature. Thanks for joining me today. To continue improving, try exercises in the ESL Nearby app.